Stephen A., I'm going to start with you on this one. Do you feel like running backs are being treated unfairly?
Absolutely. I stand with all of them. I stand with Derrick Henry. I stand with Austin Eckler. I stand with certainly with Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb, and what he said. Christian McCaffrey, I think it's incredibly important because he's got he's got a long-term deal, obviously, something that he inked even before he arrived in San Francisco. I'm not saying that it's a surprise. We understand what it is, but let's just take this into consideration. This offseason, just this past offseason alone, we're looking at Ezekiel Elliott, age 27, cut. Dalvin Cook, he was let go. Tampa Bay released Leonard Fournette. The Browns declined to re-sign Kareem Hunt. Cincinnati's Joe Mixon had to take a significant pay cut. We're looking at all of these things that have transpired, right? And I think to me, the most important thing is this. You're literally looking at their production, and you're ignoring it at your discretion. I don't know of any other position where they does that in the NFL. You know, Kimberley does an exceptional job of covering the NFL for all of these years. Obviously, we're talking to a Super Bowl champion and a guy that knows football like the back of his hand, and Ryan Clark. I will openly defer to y'all, but what I would say to y'all is this. When you can look at a person's age and use that as an excuse to ignore their production, that's a problem. Because like Nick Chubb highlighted, and I think accurately, he's saying, wait a minute, no matter what we do out on the football field, and I remember DeMarco Murray years ago when I was complaining about this, you're the Dallas Cowboys, you gave this brother 292 carries, okay? Plus he had some receptions out of the backfield. He touching the ball over 300 times. And you said, okay, well, we wore you down, so we might as well let you go elsewhere. When that kind of stuff happens, something has to give. And where I'm gonna tell you it's unfair is not necessarily because of the money. I don't like the fact that the NFL gets to franchise tag a Josh Jacobs and a Saquon Barkley now. And then, oh, by the way, you get to do it next year too. If you're going to judge the position differently, then treat them differently. How about elimination? How about eliminating back-to-back franchise tag abilities? How about doing something along those lines? How about making sure that rookie wage scale that you come in and automatically falls under their stewardship? How about making sure that they can sign earlier? For example, if you got to wait till 3 years before you come out of college to enter the National Football League, how about making it a year earlier for running backs to be able to come out? Do something to modify it where they have an opportunity for their earning potential to be commiserate with everybody else that plays on the National Football League field the way that they do. It's not just about necessarily the money, where you're counting it, Ryan Clark, where you're counting it, Kimberley, where you're just counting the dollars. I'm saying put them in a position where their earning potential is equal to that of anybody else playing on the field, as opposed to you looking at them strictly based on their position and saying, no, this is not a worthy investment. You've got to put them in a position where you kind of equal the playing field in that regard. I think some modification calls for in that realm. But that's all I'm saying about that. I side with the National Football League running backs 100% on this.
Oh, 100%. I'm all about guys getting paid. I think the question of whether it's unfair, it's 100% unfair, because running backs are the only position group that has been penalized by the tag. Their number keeps going down. Everybody else going up. Kirk Cousins, he was able to win that double tag situation based on what his position is. He's a quarterback. What we see is Saquon Barkley face it. I think Saquon Barkley's situation is literally all the proof we need that running backs are treated unfairly, and the way we evaluate them and the way the NFL gives contracts to them needs to be reevaluated. Because if you have a Saquon Barkley who has been the dutiful soldier this entire time since he came into the league 2018, who was the Offensive Rookie of the Year, who's a guy who literally did everything the right way. When you talk about how you want players to enter the league and how they should comport themselves and carry themselves and be that unselfish guy, he did it all. And look, it wasn't him who got paid. It was his quarterback. When you look at the amount of touches that he had, third most in the NFL, I believe at 352.
Right.
When you look at the discrepancy in Daniel Jones's production, with Saquon on the field versus without, it was Daniel Jones who got paid, not Saquon. So the market, someone can easily say, well, the market is what it is, so it's not unfair. You need to understand how to read the market. But the reality is that the running back is the only position where you are a car. You are a new car on that showroom floor. The minute we take you off and we drive you, your value goes down. It does not matter if your production goes up. No. It's not financially expedient for us to spend a lot of money on a second contract for you. We're going to draft another kid and we'll run him into the ground. They're the one position. Why do you think Deebo Samuel was like, hey, I'm not just a running back. Pay me like I'm a full
Because he
weapon.
knows he'd never get his money if he played the running back position.
And Saquon is not a running back. To call him that in their offense, he is their offense. So to call him that is to actually not give him the credit of what he can be for the Giants. And that is the unfortunate part. So Saquon, just watching how this has transpired, 1,000% they're treated unfairly.
Go ahead, RC.
First off, I want to apologize to all of the players in the NFL, all of the running backs. As a former executive board member and vice president of the NFLPA, before I speak, I am apologizing. I'm on here with two non-players who think that the running back position is treated unfairly, and I disagree. When you look at the CBA, these are the rules that have been negotiated and collectively bargained by the NFLPA. So these are the rules that are going to govern each and every player on an NFL roster. Now, I had a friend, Jimmy Smith, who covers LSU here, who said, I believe that running backs should have an opportunity for arbitration. I believe that too. They should be able to have a discussion before they get to the tender or the franchise tag situation that allows them to get more money. But I'm going to tell you why the running back position is not treated unfairly. I'm going to point to Todd Gurley. Christian McCaffrey didn't finish his contract out in Carolina. He is now a San Francisco 49er. One thing about all of those contracts that were big, that were deserved, that were earned, none of them ended up in the championship. So if I'm a team, I'm looking at the rest of the NFL and saying, when you do pay a running back big time money, what does it get you in wins? What does it get you in championships? And the answer to that recently is nothing. Now, I'm going to tell you why running backs are the running backs' biggest problem. Dameon Pierce, Houston Texans, 4th round draft pick, a guy that alternated at Florida, is an absolute stud as a rookie in Houston with Davis Mills playing quarterback, so you know he had stacked boxes. The championship team, the team that won it all, they have a late round draft pick in Isaiah Pacheco that becomes the bell cow of that offense. Think about Derrick Henry, a 2nd round draft pick. Jonathan Taylor, a 2nd round draft pick. Tony Pollard, a guy who was making us have this discussion, was a 4th round draft pick on a team that was paying a running back the most money in the entire league at the position, and ends up being a better player than him. That tells me I can find running backs and I don't have to draft them in the 1st round. I don't have to pay them $90 million. If they get a little long in the tooth, if they want a little bit too much money, I could go draft another one and I ain't got to pick him first. I want you to think one more thing before I let you go, Stephen A.
Sure, because I'm coming right up.
We talked about this on Get Up. All but one quarterback that will be starting in the AFC is a 1st round draft pick, which tells me you either need to draft a guy or you got to pay a guy for that position. It's not the same for running backs. And I want them to get paid too, but there's a reason that they aren't.
Well, first of all, that soliloquy, that diatribe you just went on was quite eloquent and brilliant. I'll give you all the credit in the world for that. Thank you very much, my Libra brother. That's number one. Number two, I think that
he's coming. That's how you know he's coming, because he just butted you up.
If you didn't miss me, certainly this show did, because let me tell you something right now, you ain't getting away with what you just said. You brought up Todd Gurley, okay? You brought up Ezekiel Elliott. You brought up a few names. Let me bring up the name Derrick Henry, okay? Because if you think about Derrick Henry and what Derrick Henry has brought to the table, right? Let me throw this stat at you right here. I looked this up, right? This is a guy that stands as Exhibit A for running backs with in terms of running back contracts. 2nd round pick is Derrick Henry. He's earned $46 million in 7 seasons. $46 million. You just brought up 90. Who the hell are you talking about in terms of running back? I don't know what you're talking about. This man Derrick
Ezekiel
Henry.
Elliott.
Hold on. Let me tell you.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay, fine. I'm bringing up Derrick Henry. Just like you can bring up Ezekiel Elliott or Todd Gurley, I can bring up Derrick Henry, right? $46 million in 7 NFL seasons. This is a man that has rushed for 8,334 yards and scored a total of 81 career touchdowns, but he has earned $46 million. When you talk about Saquon Barkley or a Josh Jacobs, what are they looking for in guaranteed dollars? In guaranteed dollars, $22 to $23 million. Come on now. So what I'm saying to you is this. Now, if you're talking about $80, $90 million, I get it. When you're talking about $20 to $22 million over the course of 2 to 3 to 4 years, all right, in guaranteed dollars, you want to make sure at least over the course of 2 to 3 years, you got that amount of a guarantee. And you consider a guy like Saquon Barkley, because Daniel Jones wouldn't be where he is right now if it was not for Saquon Barkley. We know that we know that the Giants as an offense had Saquon Barkley in a bag of chips. That's what we know about them, okay? It was about Saquon Barkley, but Daniel Jones is the one that got damn near $40 million a year. I understand from a positional perspective. I get your point. But I also would say this, albeit rhetorically. RC, when you talk about that negotiation that took place, and you were on that committee, right? How many running backs were on that committee that agreed to that collective bargaining? I need an answer to that question. If you don't know, I understand.
I have to figure it out. I don't know offhand.
Figure that. All right. Yeah. Because I want to know how many running backs. I think that's important.
A lot of running backs aren't a part of PA.
There you go. That's fine. That's not your fault. I'm simply making the point that when we talk about things from a positional perspective, there are modifications that could be implemented that would enable you to have somewhat of an elevated level of earning potential as opposed to being squashed just because of your position as opposed to your production. And I think anytime somebody is able to look at you, literally look at you, RC, safety, hitman, all right, you know what, you play that position, and even though you had an exceptional year, you're 29 years of age, you're going on 30, and I'm going to give that to you because you look it. You're going 29, you're going on 30 years of age. Guess what? We just going to assume that you're going to stink in a couple of years, and because of that, we're not going to pay you. There's something wrong with that picture now.
No, I do agree with you in that. I also agree with Kimberley when she was talking about what Saquon can do from the running back position as it pertains to the passing game and helping Daniel Jones be everything he is. Sure. I get all of that. And you mentioned Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is an absolute stud. Derrick Henry is going to be a Hall of Famer at the position. Derrick Henry, when Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans were losing to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship, was on the sideline in a jacket. Derrick Henry was not helping his team go win that game.
And the quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, might as well have been on the sideline.
A Super Bowl. And I understand that. But what I'm telling you is what these people are looking at. I think Derrick Henry deserves money. I think Saquon Barkley deserves a ton of money. Josh Jacobs deserves a ton of money. But I can't say from a business perspective, when I sit on this side, that I don't see why they aren't.
I see it. I see it. All I'm saying is this. We're talking about 22 to 23 million over RC. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get you if we're talking quarterback money or anything like that. But that. 22 to 23 million dollars over 2 or 3 years, I mean, come on now. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.